Hey guys. Thanks guys for coming again. It's 5 o'clock right now. I don't know if people are like on regular schedules or eating dinner now or whatnot. I'm enjoying I made myself like just sparkling water with some berries in it because I felt I wanted a little summery today. It's beautiful downtown Toronto. How is the weather where you guys are from? You guys have some really nice weather too. I know we actually have like warm weather today, warm-ish, I would say, warm adjacent. The air is still very, very cold, but at least the sun is shining, which is definitely going to make everyone feel better. And definitely not a lot of people are going outside, which is great. Everyone's still social distancing, which is awesome as well. So today, you guys, we're going to talk about DIY color. And I know that this is something that it's a very touchy subject in our industry right now. I feel like a lot of people, a lot of stylists, this is dividing our industry at the moment. I feel like a lot of stylists, either they're totally for it or they're against it. And I just wanted to share with you guys some of my thoughts and also kind of where I'm getting my information from of why I have the opinion that I have on it. And then give you guys some actual, like, real, tangible options for your clientele that can actually help them at this time and keep you and keep them safe as well. So one of the biggest things is I'm hearing a lot of people of doing DIY color kits, and I think that's their own prerogative if they want to be able to offer something like that. I would never hate on someone for doing something like that if they feel like this is the only way that they can pay their bills or keep their clientele happy. I would never hate on someone for deciding to do something like that. I just want to share with you guys kind of my side of it, like where I am seeing this kind of going. And one of my biggest things this is from the minute someone had announced that they thought they should do it. One of the biggest things that I thought was just about my clients' safety, their health and safety when it came to something like this. When it comes to professional color, it is meant to just be professionally behind the chair. And if you're giving it to a client, it essentially, you're taking on the responsibility of them applying it properly, them processing it properly, them not getting it in different places that they shouldn't get it into, whether they're eyeballs or whatnot. And if they do that, you can be held responsible for that. So that's something that, again, it's a touchy subject because there is definitely, as I said, it's very divisive right now. Either people are so for it and they're offering it, or people are so against it. So I wanted to share with you guys, this is an article that I saw recently and I completely 100% agree with all the points. This is from the Beauty Council. It's beautycouncil.ca, and basically their top 3 points of why they say to not do it is basically, first of all, that you might harm your client, right? So basically, these are chemicals that we're giving them. We're expecting them to know how to mix them up like we would, process for the same amount of time, make sure that they have clean sections, clean application, and that you can't even do that on yourself, right? Like if, as a stylist, we were to do our own roots, we know we're going to get some overlap. We know we're going to have, it's going to be a little bit messy, right? Because we're not standing behind our head. We're essentially like just applying it on ourselves. So you can imagine for a client who's never applied color before, how this could be as well, right? So they could have chemical burns, they could mix it incorrectly, right? They could leave it on too long because they feel like they're going to get more coverage. So that could also cause damage to themselves and to their hair. And heaven forbid they have a reaction to it. Not only is that putting their safety at risk, but at the same time, if they have to go to the hospital in order to, deal with this type of reaction, then they're also putting themselves at a higher risk to catch the virus. So again, it just that alone, the safety, just the harm to my client, I just want to just not do it because of that alone. Then we get into their second reason they have out in the article, and it says that you might be sued without coverage. And yes, basically there's a liability, right? So as soon as you are selling someone something like this and something can go wrong, you can be held responsible for it, right? And because this is a professional product and it's not meant to be sold to the general public to use, you're not going to have any backing from your insurance, from your salon, from, you know, whatever personal insurance you have. This is going to be personally against you. So again, it's one of those things that I don't want to take that risk, right? I trust my clients, and I think my clients are very well educated. I think that I educate them very, very well behind the chair. I try to explain how to style, how to shampoo, how to do whatever else with their hair. But there's certain things that I don't necessarily trust that they're going to keep to the same standard I would do for them. And this is definitely one of them, right? And even in here, they actually talk about the fact that if you most insurance policies have limits of where the damage or harm can occur. So if it happens in the salon, it's one thing. If it happens outside of the salon because you gave it to them outside of the salon, that's a completely different thing. And I remember reading something as well. Someone commented about this, saying that some insurance companies, if they see you selling this product outside of the salon, you could actually lose your coverage, period. Like they could just not cover you. So again, that's their second reason. I mean, already two top, like really good reasons. And then the third one is just you're being unprofessional. Really, truly, right? I mean, if someone wants to DIY color their own hair, let them at it. Like, you know, if they want to use a box, they want to take on that responsibility themselves, that's a completely different story. But as soon as we're doing something like this, we're essentially giving them the formulations, or we're giving them all the professional color. What is going to stop them from asking for it again once we're back in business, right? Oh, you did it for them one time, especially once we open the salon again and we're so busy behind the chair and we may not be able to fit them in. Essentially, those clients are going to be like, well, you did it for me before. Why can't you just mix me at my roots? I'll just swing by and pick it up, right? It's completely taking it away from the professional experience of being behind the chair. And I am one that, you know, I got into this industry wanting to be an educator, wanting to have a platform which I could speak and educate other stylists. I wanted to elevate this industry, and doing something like that just goes against all my morals and ethics of what I believe behind the chair. So those are just the three pieces in this article, and I will link this in my stories later just so you guys can have a read, because they actually make some good points. And one of my favorite ones, and one of the stylists at my salon actually pointed this out to me today too when I was sharing this article with them. The last one about being unprofessional, they actually say, imagine you had a toothache and your dentist sends you a drill with some goop to patch things up. Could you guys even imagine? I do not want to go at my face with a drill, right? So it's one of those things that you have to remember. We are professionals and we need to offer professional things. So that being said, I do have some options for you guys that you guys can offer your clients so that they feel like they're taken care of and they don't feel like they have completely hideous roots, and they feel like they still have a connection to you as well. So for me, I can only really speak about like the Gold Ball world, as I am like a guest artist for them. I know the Gold Ball products inside out. So I do know that we do have some retail products we can actually offer our clients, and this is something we can offer them even when the salon's back open, right? So this is something we can offer them ongoing. So one of the first things is we have two different options for retail. We have a temporary and a semi-permanent color. Both of those things are retail products, and both we can offer to them. So first of all, the temporary color is actually a new product Gold Ball came out with, and I think it's awesome. I really like it. This is the color Revive. I actually only have two shades here. I ordered a blonde one as well, but it's back ordered right now. So I just have the dark brown and the medium brown here. But what's really great about these is this is something that if you have a client that wants to come in, you know, maybe she just that day, the week of kind of appointment, she wants to come in and she's like really worried about her roots all day at work. You know that they're supposed to have clean, dry hair when they come into the salon for their hair color service. So what I loved is that this product, I've actually found that even if they have a little bit on their hair the day of the appointment, I can actually go over it with my color and I haven't had any issues with coverage. Now I'll lightly rub it to kind of remove a little bit of the residue, but I even know if I have a client that comes in and she's got this on her hair, I know that this isn't going to act as a barrier against my color that I'm going to apply. So what's cool is it's just like this little compact. The top actually has a little bit of a mirror, and then this is the shade in here. And then the bottom has a little applicator. So essentially they just dip that in and then tap it on their roots. And this gives them, it looks like almost, 100% coverage. Again, this is a temporary color. So how we'd explain this to our guests in the salon is that this is going to last until they wash it out. So essentially, if they don't wash it for a couple days, it will still kind of be in their hair. It is rub resistant, so you're not going to get a ton of product kind of coming off when you rub it. So you don't have to worry about them kind of touching their hair and then getting it all over their forehead. It does stay pretty much in place, which is really nice. And if they're finding that they get any sort of rubbage from that as well, rubbage, not really a good word. If they get any from that as well, they can always just after they apply it, just lightly put a hairspray over top of it. That helps lock it in a little bit more, right? So that will help lock this in. Essentially, it's almost like, you guys, it's almost like an eyeshadow, right? So you can always tell them to use something like that as well. This does obviously give you a little bit more better coverage than say an eyeshadow would, but this is a great option for them. And there is, I believe, 6 shades right now, and a couple of them are light blonde. So essentially for someone like me, if I have a little bit of regrowth, I could apply it on this area and it just essentially makes that root just look a little bit brighter, so I don't feel as deep and as dark. So that's the first option. As I said, this is a temporary coverage. And then you get into something a little bit different. This is our semi-permanent coverage. And in the Goldwell world, we have something called soft color. So this is a color foam and it comes in a variety of shades. I'll let you guys know the shades in a second, but this is actually like a semi-permanent color. So essentially it's direct dyes. The pH of this product, I believe, sits at a 6.8. So it is on the acidic side. So essentially it's going to just deposit pigment to the hair. So the nice thing is it is just a foam. You just shake it up before application and you can just apply it on the whole head. Or if it's someone's looking for something to kind of help cover their regrowth, they do have like a 5N, a 6N, and a 7N, and an 8N shade. So all those N shades will help cover that gray as well. So what I am kind of doing for some of my guests right now is they can go home with this. I tell them to apply this on clean, dry hair. And the nice thing is you can always tell them, I'm still trying to locate getting some more paintbrushes, but just you can give them a paintbrush, essentially. They can use the cap as their bowl. So they shake it up, put a little bit in here, and then I get them to start right on the part line and just tap it into the part line and around the hairline. This sits on the 5 to 15 minutes, but when you're doing gray coverage, I would say leave it on the maximum amount of time, rinse it out, and they can always do a second application if they don't get enough coverage. They're not going to have the same coverage as, say, an alkaline base color, right? So in the Goldwell world, we have Top Shaker and Ectaya that usually give us our gray coverage. This is not going to have the same amount of coverage, but it still will make their whites not as in your face, right? So the idea is you can just retail them something like this, send them home with a glove, a paintbrush, and then use this as the bowl so they can just put that in there. And as I said, we do have quite a few shades in that. So it's, let me see here. I got a list, and I know this might change a little bit depending on the country, but right now in Canada, we have a 5N, 6A, 6B. There's like a 7N, 8N. There's a bunch of warm shades like KGs, Gs, RBs. And then going all the way up to like a level 10, there's a 10V, 10P, and 10B. So there's also options for our blonde clients as well, which is really nice. So I'm going to show you guys what this looks like. Wear gloves, because whenever you're applying color, you should always wear gloves. If any of you guys have ever been to one of my master colorist programs at the Goldwell Academy, you guys know that I am like on it with the gloves. You always need to make sure you're wearing gloves. So I'm going to put my gloves on. These are the Framar gloves, you guys. These are the disposable Framar ones. And I have gone grocery shopping in these gloves recently. Not these exact pair, but I do have a box of gloves. So yeah, I do like these. I tend to, behind the chair, use the like the black satin ones or something that's a reusable one, because I'm trying to be like more like eco-friendly, kind of reuse them. Plus I just like how they mold to my hand a little bit nicer. So, but these ones are the Framar ones, and these ones are awesome too. And I know that we do have these at the Goldwell Academy, and I think Cow does retail them as well, which is nice. So if you do go to the Academy and have a class with me, these are the gloves you can borrow. So I just have some quick ways to kind of show you guys what the product looks like. I'm gonna grab, this is my 10P. Ooh, Just get a little showy there, you guys. This is my 10P shade. So this one here, this would actually be what I would use on myself to kind of keep myself nice and icy as well. So you're going to shake this up a little bit first, and then for application to kind of show you guys, shake this up, hold it upside down, and then you guys have a nice like foam. So then if someone was applying this onto their regrowth, I'm not going to apply it on myself right now, but essentially they can pick up some of the foam and then just dab it onto the regrowth. I'll show you guys. It's really hard so I don't drop it all over the place. So just dabbing that onto their regrowths, then they're going to get the most amount of application. Again, if someone's trying to get gray coverage out of this, or at least more gray coverage out of this, then I highly, highly suggest that they have the cleanest of clean, the driest of the dry hair, because the more water that you have in your hair, and the more dirt and grime and oil and things you have in your hair as well, the more that the color is not going to penetrate. And this even goes when we're dealing with any alkaline based color. So if we're dealing with Top Chic or Necktie or something that's giving us our full 100% gray coverage, as soon as you have that dirt and that grime, it's like a barrier, right? So how I like to explain this to my clients, and you guys can completely steal this, I think it's fabulous. But the way I like to explain it to my clients is sort of like a car trying to get from point A to point B, right? And there's a roadblock in the way, the roadblock being the dirt and the grime. Our colors are formulated to get from point A to point B. So in the Top Chic world, I believe we have a ammonia content of like 2%. So it's super, super, super low, and it's meant to just get from point A to point B. Now, as soon as there's a roadblock in the way, something dirt, grime, oil, product, whatever it may be, now that car is trying to like get through that roadblock, and it's using all of its gas to get through the roadblock. It may get to the other side, so you might get the coverage you want, but it also may not, because our products aren't formulated to deal with just all the different variables of everyone's different hair, right? So again, even when it comes to having someone come in, making sure that they're coming in for their appointment with clean, dry hair, especially with something like this, you need to stress that it needs to be clean and dry. So as I was telling you guys too, so when you guys are telling them for a root retouch, they can just essentially use the cap here as their bowl, and then they're just applying from there, just with like a paintbrush is fine. You don't even have to get like essentially, or even like a makeup brush of some sort. You don't even need to have like an actual hair color brush for something like this. They can also just use their fingers, like with a glove on obviously, and tap it into the root. They don't need to have a brush. To get a little bit better gray coverage out of this, I would suggest to use a brush, something to kind of rough up that cuticle, just to really help it penetrate. So you're gonna just really kind of get it in there a little bit more. That will help a little bit to give the most amount of coverage. So if you guys do decide that you want to retail something like this to your clients, I highly suggest making a video or writing down instructions, so that when your client leaves with this product, they have a detailed list of understanding how to use it, how to get the most amount of coverage out of it too. And again, this is a retail product. So this is something that they can constantly use. They can come in and get from your salon anytime. This is something you can constantly order from Goldwell. So these are awesome options that will give them something that will last a little bit for them as well. The nice thing for this versus say using a box color or something that they might be tempted to get on their hair is with this product, it's meant to last 6 to 8 washes. So 6 to 8 washes is what you're going to get out of the soft color. So the idea is they're not washing it every day. They could get a couple weeks out of this color, right? Also, because this is a semi-permanent pigment, and because the way that it actually sits on the hair, it's a direct pigment, and it's also a very acidic. This sits at a 6.8 pH. So the idea is that when you're just depositing this pigment, we know it's not going to penetrate into the actual cortex of the hair. It's going to sit on the cuticle. So the idea being that if you had a little bit too much pigment or it overlapped in some areas, we know that that's going to wash off, and they're not having to deal with a color correction when they come back into the salon. It's something that is fixable or something you're able to work with very easily. So that being said, I know for myself, have a lot of blonde clientele. So most of my clientele is blonde. And obviously, I'm not going to be telling them to, bleach and tone their own hair, because that's where we're going to get into some serious, serious hair disasters. And we're going to get into something that you could have major breakage, or we can have some other issues with the hair. So I wouldn't be saying something like that to my clients at all, but someone who has, say, a little bit more of that regrowth and they're a blonde client, why not give them options to even tone their hair right now? So utilizing, again, our soft color, right? We have our 10P, 10V, and 10B shade, 10V, 10P, 10B shades. All those options, we have some cool, we have a warm shade as well. So you can offer them options so they don't look so brassy by the next time that they come in. Also, I had an idea, because I do have some clients that they work more conservative jobs, and they always wanted to try maybe like a fun shade, a fun color, something fun on their hair, but they always say, oh, it's not allowed in the office. Why not now? None of them are working, right? No one's going into the office, everyone's from home, so why not try to have like fun pink, purple, different color hair? And again, because of how this product is formulated, I know that it's going to wash out of their hair. And even if they come back in and there's a little bit of a residue, even a super, super, super gentle lightener, I'm saying mixing a lightener with like, not even 10 vol, you need something even less than that, that will budge out that pigment in like 2 seconds flat. So I know that this, again, is not having something that's going to cause like a major issue for me to have to correct out later. And this is something that I feel safe offering my guests. So I actually came up with a couple options for you guys, some fun blonde toners. So because just looking at the different shade selection we have, again, in Canada, I think we have different shades than other places in the world. I know that some places have darker levels, and I know here we only have 5 and above for soft color, and I think there was a 4G or 4N that I saw somewhere online, but we can't access that in Canada. But for some fun blonde shades to give them something to play around with, we could do something like 10V and 6R to get like a really cool pink, which I may do on myself sometime this week. We could also do 10V and 6A, which gives you kind of a silverized blue, which also the more 6A you have in it, the more blue kind of pigment, and the more 10V it will be like a lighter version, right? So the more of the lighter shade is going to lighten up that overall color. Another one for a violet, you can mix 10V, 6R, and 6A, and that will give you a really cool violet shade. We kind of came up with strawberry, which is 8K and 10B, or a rose gold doing 8G and a drop of 6R, or even like a deep strawberry tone doing 8G and a drop of 7KG. So those are just some fun shades that even all of our blonde clientele can play around with, and knowing that it's not going to affect like their overall tone like long term. They're going to be able to have something fun, but it's going to fade back out to this. I know a few years ago I was doing, we had a shade called 5VR, so I'd mix 5VR and 10V, and I would have the most cool like bubblegum pink shade. 5VR, we can't get it anymore, but we had like a really, really cool pink shade out of it, and it was like bubblegummy, and I was doing that constantly, and it would last me about 2 weeks, wash back out, I'd be back blonde, go back, try it again. Like, it was fun for me because I didn't want to commit to being pink, but I just loved having the pink shade, so I got to play around with that a little bit more. Oh, this doesn't really work when you suck up the blueberries. This is actually so good, you guys. I have one of those soda streams, and I think I'm just going to town on making so much sparkling water right now. So how does that sound to you guys? Like, I mean, there isn't... The biggest thing is that in this time, there isn't like an easy solution for everyone. And I know that everyone is struggling and everyone is trying to figure out what is the best for themselves and their clientele. And that's where something like this is really key, because I don't want this industry, I don't want all of us to have like bad feelings with other people, or there to be hate or anything for some people selling color and some people not. I think that if anything, I think it's our job as professionals to educate everyone and to let them know, you know, what are the options, what can you have, right? So having these options for our clients, I think, are great, like the soft color and the color revive. I think they're great options, and I think it will definitely help them get through this little bit of time until we can see them again, right? The other thing too is just even regular retail, offering clients, shampoos, conditioners, treatments. This is the time. I mean, everyone should be pampering themselves a little bit more. You're at home, put a hair mask in your hair, do a face mask, that kind of thing. Make hair part of that spa day for themselves. I know yesterday I talked about like some of the things that we can do for our own like mental health and our mental wellness. And one of those things was doing like a DIY spa day, taking care of yourself, but making sure that hair is part of it too, right? So we have tons of different options, from 60-second treatments to treatments that are gonna, have to be on for the 15-20 minutes. Why not let our clients know about these products and let them know that these are options that they can use too? I think it's honestly a really great idea. Not just because I came up with it. I mean, anyway, so you guys, I am literally going crazy here. How are you guys doing? I feel like I'm going crazy with not being outside. Well, we do have our balcony. I've spent some time out in the balcony, which has been really great, but not being able to do hair is kind of, I never, ever thought in my entire career that I would ever be in this position. I just never saw this ever happening. So it's kind of crazy that I can't do the thing I love, but at least I still get to be on here and talk with all you guys as well about all these different things and educate a little bit as well. So I get to do part of my career, which is fun. So the last thing I wanted to like leave you guys with today was just another article that I saw. It was again from the Beauty Council. They've actually got like some really, really good information on here. So this one here was posted March 27th, so not too long ago. And again, this is a Canadian site, so this is talking about stuff in Canada. I don't know how it is in the States or in other parts of the world right now, but basically this actually stated that as of March 26th, so in BC, so I'm in Ontario, so BC is the West Coast, the BC government announced fines of up to $25,000 plus jail time for anyone violating public health orders. And one of those public health orders being hairstylists trying to do hair at home. So clients coming to their house, so they're going to clients' houses, that kind of thing, versus being just in the salon. And I cannot even explain to you guys, like that's just, I think it's just putting so many people at risk when we're dealing with, everything going on right now. And I think it's good that the BC government like announced that people are going to be fined if they're doing this, because I think that it should be a thing. I think we're supposed to be social distancing. We're supposed to be spending time like away from everyone, and so that we kind of stop the spread or kind of flatten that curve, as everyone's saying, right? And I think that's having something like that it should happen, because I feel like the more that if a stylist is going mobile, if you've decided you want to go house to house, you're just taking a huge risk for so many people's health, right? And that's something that I think that we all just really, really need to think about when we're talking about this kind of stuff, is just what risk is it going to put to you? So I'm going to link both these articles in my Instagram stories later. And probably in the next couple days, I will have a video up about how utilizing the soft color, showing you guys some of those color results. And if you guys have any questions about different verbiage or how to talk to your clients about the different, options we have for at-home coloring. Again, this is doing something like our temporary powder or our semi-permanent color foam. Those, again, are the retail options we have to offer our clients. So if you guys have questions, like hit me up, send me a DM. I'd love to answer them. If you guys have questions about the shade selection, anything like that, I can send you guys all the information I have. And hopefully once we're all out of this, we rise to a better self, right? But yeah, so I just want you guys to like, just take that, give it a little think. If you guys were on my Instagram live yesterday, I do have a link in my bio that gives you guys a free goal setting planner, because yesterday we talked all about goal setting and giving you guys just tangible ways to kind of keep ourselves motivated and to kind of essentially work right now, because we're not able to do a whole lot. So we want to keep ourselves busy and keep ourselves occupied a little bit too. So I do have a link to that. If you guys do sign up for that, it is a free download. But if you guys do sign up for that, then everyone that is on my subscription list will be getting my free handout for tomorrow's live. And tomorrow I'm talking all about content. and how to create hair content when we're at home, because we're not behind the chair. We don't have all access to everything that we would normally have access to right now. So this would just give you guys ideas of content you guys can create, from stories to posts to videos, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to be sending out a free content planner download, and it's going to actually have real options for you guys to come up with, like real ideas to come up with your own content right now when we're not doing hair. So I hope you guys liked today, and let me know if you guys have any other questions about the different options we have, even within the Goldwell line. And as I said, I know that there's tons of other companies out there that have temporary hair sprays, like hair pigment sprays or powders, or, you know, semi-permanent retail products you guys can offer your clients. So just, if you're not with Goldwell, dig deep. I know that there's tons of other companies out there that are offering those things. See what they're offering as well. And if not, Goldwell has got some options as well. So I will see you guys here tomorrow for my live all about giving you guys actual content for your Instagram, even though we're in quarantine and we're not doing hair. So stay tuned. And if you guys remember, subscribe to my mailing list, and then I will send you guys out that content planner tomorrow. So I will talk to you guys all tomorrow, okay?